Okay, in this video, I kind of wanted to do a putting it all together video, analyzing both Amazon and Tesla stock and kind of going over the areas that I discussed in my previous videos on algorithmic trading and broadening action, and just show you how that all comes together to start trying to figure out some of the best stocks to trade, what the opportunities are. You start doing some what-if analysis. If this happens, then that type of thing. You're looking at different time frames. We're looking at liquidity areas. We're looking at obviously the broadening formations that I just went over on a video on the daily short term and on even the weekly chart here. And then you're looking at various gaps and balance areas or inefficient pricing areas that could be support and resistance. So let's kind of look in terms of Amazon to start, and I'll show you this is actually a much weaker stock than Tesla. I'm looking to go short on this one. I'll tell you why, and I'll show you what has to happen to confirm it. I'll show you what some of the possibilities are going forward, either to confirm or not confirm a good short trade. But for now, if you just start out here on the daily chart, you do see the 2 down day from Friday. So we are projecting it, on Friday, given the 2 down day, there was a projection down to this low for that broadening action. And I shot that on the broadening chart video. That you can go back and watch just to understand what I'm saying. You get the 2 down, you're projecting here to kind of get a compound outside bar, of this one bar here. Now it didn't make it down there, but you can still get another bar tomorrow that follows through, and that's the target. Then I see a pivot machine gun. So once we hit that target, if we go lower, and we'll know if we go lower, by the way, given our opening price action. This is the 15-minute chart. That's what I'll be looking at in the morning tomorrow down here. I want to see some weakness to start the session, but we'll get in, that's a whole nother topic. But that's how you kind of trigger the trade. You stay below the halfway point of today and see weakness at the start. That anticipates lower price action. So we'll look for that in the morning. But anyway, if we head down here, I do see the pivot machine gun. And that also is another reason why, it's another kind of a check in the box to try to go short. And when I look at the weekly chart, that pivot machine gun taking out a couple of daily lows triggers the daily 2 down. The weekly 2 down, which projects all the way down here. So we have all week, if we can get kind of a weak start to pause, in a 2 down week to head down here. Now I do notice a couple of things. First of all, there's a big tail here, buying tail. So that could be the area where if we don't make it down there by the end of the week, maybe we're failing. Also, I see a pretty big fair value gap in here. Even so, if we hit our target, I can sense that maybe for the month we might be holding there. But obviously, if you get short up here and you get all the way down here, that's a great trade. But just keep in mind that there's a gap there. What's interesting about that is when you go to the monthly chart now, that had a 3 bar in January. And when I see a 3 bar, that's broadening action on its own. That means, you had a higher high and a lower low. If you go to the weekly chart, you can see that higher high here, lower low. So the question is, we've already broadened out. Are we going to then come all the way back through the range, or are we going to possibly hold in here and then broaden out on a higher time frame to some of these bigger picture targets? That's what we're kind of watching on the month. Now, this is going to take time to find out because, first of all, if let's just say we come down and get a 3-2 bar, in other words, a two up failure looking bar. Then you get a 2 down bar in March. Well, first of all, I know there's a kind of a fair value gap in here to hold that area should we get a down bar into next month. So we might not head to those lows. That's what I'm gonna have to watch for. I'm gonna have to see it get through that fair value gap to feel comfortable we're heading down there. But let's say we get kind of a 3-2 down and it holds there, and then a 2 up into April. That'll be a good sign that this broadening action was just a broadening action on the monthly time frame, and we're probably heading higher. And we'll know that by April, type of thing, towards this pivot machine gun all the way up here, which takes Amazon way up to the 150 area. So that's possible. Also possible is that we don't even come down at all, and by maybe the middle of this month, this turns really green, and I can sense by the end of February this is going to stay green, and it's going to look like a 2-2, 3-2 continuation, taking out again all these. Then the next few months, this is the monthly time frame, should be you have the pivot machine gun up here. So it's kind of interesting to see whether we're going to really broaden out down, or this is going to end up being a 3-2 continuation. There might be early signs of that, heading higher here too. On the weekly chart, maybe we get a 2 down week, can't reach our target, start a 2 up week next week. I'll kind of know we have this selling tail to get through. That's like almost a gap, that's that fair value gap up in here. So we'll see if that happens and so on and so forth. But for now, I see a good opportunity to go short and to see what plays out because, you have the next target. We're still broadening to that target. We have pivot machine gun. It could set up a 2-down week and we could at least get a good, decent enough trade to start and then kind of see how all that unfolds. So thought I'd point that out for Amazon. Now, when you look at Tesla real quickly, or as quick as I can, that's a much stronger stock for a variety of reasons. First of all, on the daily chart, what you have here is technically a 2-up bar from yesterday. And if we get a 2-down bar, let's say, all it has to really do is take out this low to broaden. So these 2 bars, let's say we get a 2-down bar, that would just broaden this, compound broadening action of this 1 bar here. That's all it has to do. Also, I see a little gap here between the high of this bar and the low of this bar. There's a little fair value gap. If you look at the chart, 15-minute chart, you can kind of see it in here. This is a gap. So all we have to do really, if we get some kind of down movement to start, is take out those lows and it can hold in there. So I kind of know that. Doesn't mean it has to hold in there, but it shows you there's definitely the possibility. Whereas Tesla has Amazon has more of a possibility to continue lower. This one, you'd have to really watch price action. Let's say you get short on some weak opening. Whoops, my mouse got stuck. If you get short on some weak opening, just know that you really want to see follow through pretty strongly through this gap in order to confirm it. Otherwise, we might just be pausing here. Also, the weekly chart is nowhere near a 2-down week. We've gone up. We definitely have some exhaustion risk, but it doesn't mean that, it's anywhere near getting a 2-down week. And even if we get a 2-down week, you can see there'll be a big fair value gap in here to hold. So I don't think we're going to reach this target. So Tesla has all kinds of reasons to look for various areas on the downside to hold and start back up again. Also, the monthly chart is in a 2-up condition. We're 2 up. We're still projecting towards this high and this high and this high. There's a lot of reasons to get long. So if anything on this stock, you'd love to see a little downside action that fails, then get some kind of 2-up daily chart and then start projecting up here and to, continue higher as well. We haven't, we have 2 targets up here. You can see all this liquidity, some even 3 pivots in a row that are definitely look like they should be taken out after this move maybe pauses a little bit and heads higher. So Tesla is the type of stock where I'm really still excited to get long. I'll look for opportunities, but we'll see what happens tomorrow. Right now, given the action, there's no real obvious actionable, signal given we just had a 2-up bar. So we're in continuation mode. But anyway, it's a type of thing where if it held the midpoint of this day, and started up strong, we can just sometimes you get 5, 6, 7 days in a row up, so if we hold the midpoint and start higher, you can always look long on Tesla just as an aggressive momentum play. But the ideal trades would be coming down into some of these gaps and everything, knowing the continuities to the upside. So anyway, that's how it all comes together. You got to look at a lot of different things at the same time. Keep in mind the various broadening actions on the daily chart. Keep in mind the liquidity areas. Keep in mind the gaps that you see on the different time frames where a 2-down week might hold or where it has to get through in order to confirm that you might be coming to the bottom of a liquidity area. So that's the type of thing. And again, I'll be looking short on Amazon tomorrow for sure. Tesla, pretty much waiting for a buy signal. That's the way I see it. And you can go through every single stock and do the same thing. So that's kind of putting it all together with the algorithmic type of analysis and the broadening action type of analysis.